Hey, this is Scott again. So welcome back to my YouTube channel, where I cover a variety of different data science analytics topics, everything from open discussions to software demonstrations, both commercial and open source. So today I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm actually going to talk about, just for a brief moment, about something that a lot of people don't get, and that's the fact that you can have univariate outliers and you can have multivariate outliers. And so traditionally people look for univariate, case by case or column by column, variable by variable, univariate disparities in their data. But I'm going to demonstrate here real quickly a case where we clean data across a number of variables and identify and take out those outliers. And then we still have outliers left when we do a multivariate analysis of that. So let me just share my screen with you real quick, and I will demo this. So hopefully you can see my screen. And so what we have here is we have some industrial data, right? This comes from an industrial evaporator. These are values that are taken across time. So I have 8 different variables, and then I have 100 cases. So I sampled 100 different times, and these are the values that I got from my process: dew point, intake temp, process temp, etc. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use Data Science Workbench, and I'm going to take out the univariate outliers, and I can specify that. So I'm going to use this. This is my data right here that's connected up front, and I'm going to use this data health check summary to do that. And you can do quite a bit of different things. You can look at sparsity of data. You can look at outliers. You can do that. And it provides you a nice little report. We'll see here in just a second. And I have done videos of that, so you can check those out for data quality and data health check. I did one on exploratory data analysis not too long ago, EDA. So this generates a report, and it shows me the health of my data, right? So here are those 8 different variables. All of them were continuous. If I had categoricals, it would list those out. It lists the number of full cases and everything, and then tells me how many outliers. Dew point had an outlier, in-process temperature had an outlier, filter pressure had an outlier, and there were 5 cases removed due to outliers. And so another thing in the report, I can look column by column what the issues were. Case summary actually identifies those cases that were identified as outliers. So here are our suspects. And the other cool thing that's done here is, if you notice, when I started out, I had 100 rows or cases, right? And when I generated this row, I actually told the node to not only produce a report, but also apply data cleaning, which means that it generated the downstream document that's now clean. We have 95 cases, and it removed those 5 dirty cases. So what most people do is they just say, okay, well, that's good. Now let's just move along and do our analysis. But what happens is you can have a multivariate effect, and you can have dirty data in a multivariate way as well. So let's look real quick. If I go into advanced models, I'm going to use a NIPALS and then principal components analysis. So let me just click on OK, and the variables I'll select. I'll try to do this quick. I like to keep these videos short. And so I'm selecting all of them. I can change my settings, but I'll just leave everything the default the way it is, and I'll click OK. It's going to generate principal components, but it's also going to do a basic multivariate statistical analysis on this data. So I could do things like summary overviews, and look at the principal components, the contribution, the model, the Q stat, the R stat, and a lot more. But what we want to get to here is essentially identification of outliers, and this t-square chart is one way of doing that. So if I do that and I look at my threshold here for t-squared statistic, this is a Hotelling t-squared, is about 12.4. And look, even though I started with clean data, I've got 2 points that are out. I've got point number 19 in my data and point number 47 in my data. So again, hopefully this is clear. What I'm showing here is that I've cleaned my data column by column, univariately, and then yet when I do a multivariate analysis, I have 2 outliers. So don't look at your data just from a simple univariate look. Go ahead and dig down deep and look at it through a multivariate method as well. So anyway, hopefully that was meaningful, and you'll join me again soon. I hope you have a good one.